Today we're talking about a new lens specifically designed for the DJI Osmo Pocket that makes it extra wide. Hey guys, if you're new here to this channel, my name is Jevin Dovey. I do filmmaking tutorials, I'll do product reviews like this one, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next video. So the DJI Osmo Pocket is definitely set up for vloggers. It's like the perfect little camera that gets, awesome footage. You can get 4K 60, have stable footage no matter what you're doing, and without a microphone, you actually get decent audio because of the way that the microphone is positioned on the device itself. The lens isn't the best for vloggers, so the lens native on the DJI Osmo Pocket is actually close to like a 28mm lens, so it's a little bit more punched in, and you have to hold the camera out further to be able to get that, wider shot. So when you're up here, when you're close to the camera where you get the best audio, it's a really tight shot and it doesn't always look the best. So Ulanzi has made a lens that is a wide lens specifically made for the DJI Osmo Pocket. And what does that mean? It means that it's this little lens attachment. You see me taking it off and putting it back on, and it basically widens out the entire image so you get a much wider field of view, so it's better for vloggers overall. So now I can hold the Osmo Pocket closer, get better audio, and not have to have my hand super far away to get a wider shot. Now what holds it in place are these two magnets on the back of the lens. And the beauty about the DJI Osmo Pocket is that you can just snap on attachments like this using a magnet. And then when it sits on there, it's nice and flush with the side. So it kind of just sits right on there. And now you have a wide angle attachment. Now, something you have to think about though, when you're using attachments like this, if this gets knocked in any way, this little lens could just pop off and then you could lose it because it is so small. So even with the lens, you can actually keep it in the case. So as you see, I pop it out, I have the lens on there. So you don't have to carry an extra case for this. It just stays, in the little toothbrush holder. The issue with this lens, and one of the problems with it, is you have to take it off every time that you want to use it. So if I turn on the Osmo Pocket, you can see it's trying to balance, but with that extra lens on it, it doesn't find the balance point and it gives you an error. So you have to pop it off to be able to start the camera. And then once it's balanced, you can pop it back on. So the biggest problem for me is the size, because this thing is so tiny. But that's the issue with anything with the DJI Osmo Pocket. Any lens that you put on, it's gonna be tiny. So you really have to be careful because you could lose this pretty easily, especially because it's magnetic. If you bump it in any way, this could just pop right off. So keep that in mind, be careful when you're using it. So what you could do is you can bring an extra case and keep this in it, a little, I say like an SD card case or something, because that's big enough where you're not gonna lose it, but if you just stuck this in your bag, you're gonna end up losing it. So as you can see, the face tracking still works quite nice when you have the wide lens on. No matter where I go, it seems to follow me. Now, using this wide lens will come at a cost. So anytime you introduce something on your camera, you're putting more elements in front of the lens. And this little tiny lens is not perfect. As you can see on the edges of this footage, it's blurred and out of focus. So in terms of using this lens, I really only see it valuable when you're vlogging, because when you have the camera turned and you're trying to shoot B-roll footage or a landscape and you have blurry edges, it just doesn't look that good. Now, where this shines is actually in the vlog. And yes, you can get a better shot of yourself and the center is clear. However, the edges are not clear, so this works to your advantage when you're vlogging because it's going to put more emphasis on you in the center. So for vlogging, this works great. It adds a little extra element, a little extra blur to the edges, but for B-roll, I would say take off this lens and shoot with just the standard lens on the Osmo Pocket. Also, one thing you can notice on the edges here is that when you get something straight, so like a pole or edge or a line of some sort, and you get it near the edge of this lens, you're gonna start seeing it warp. So this lens is gonna give you that bubble effect. So it's kind of bending the edges. And then also you could see how out of focus and blurry it gets when those hard lines get to the edge of your frame. This lens definitely gives you a much wider field of view on the Osmo Pocket, but it does come at a cost. So if you're a vlogger, I definitely think that this wide lens is like a no-brainer. It just gives you that little bit of extra field of view, makes it a lot easier to vlog with this camera so you don't have to hold the camera so far out, and you just get a nice wider shot. Now, for someone who's using this camera for like B-roll or wants to get more cinematic footage, you do have to keep in mind the issues with it, the bending of the edges, and also just the distortion effects that's happening on the edges of frame. So I think this is a great tool to add to your kit if you're a DJI Osmo Pocket user. It's less than $20, so it's a great product for people that need a little bit wider field of view. And if you don't really care about these distorting effects, then this is a product that you should add to your DJI Osmo Pocket kit. Guys, there's a link down in the description where you can check out the lens, and also I'll put a link to some other videos if you're on the fence about the DJI Osmo Pocket. I've done a few different videos on this camera, the goods, the bads, everything about the Osmo Pocket, so I highly suggest checking out those videos. And guys, that's it. I'll see you on the next one.